In To Kill a Mockingbird, there were these flowers called geraniums that were kept in Mayella's yard as an example of southern white womanhood, and the fence that surrounded these flowers was a symbol of the fact that the southern white womanhood needed to be protected. Another part in this novel is when Scout and Jem begin to build a snowman, but there isn't enough snow to make it a pure snowman. So what they did instead was put dirt as the foundation and they put snow on top of it. This symbolized the brown of a person's skin and the white of a person's skin, and how none is better than the other and that we are all actually equal. Another thing learned from reading a literary criticism was that Maycomb actually had a prejudice against Boo Radley because everybody was a nice, well, not a nice, but a tight community and everybody knew each other, but Boo Radley was outside of that norm and it wasn't something that people were entirely used to. The mockingbird was a very important symbol in To Kill a Mockingbird. It represented innocence in people, and learns later that Tom Robinson was a mockingbird because he was innocent, and she could not see how he was being held guilty. Aunt Alexandra and Atticus Finch are two very different personalities in this novel. Aunt Alexandra has this very defined view of femininity and how girls should be acting, which she tries to influence Scout with. But Atticus Finch is the complete opposite. He wants his children to grow up the way that they want to be, and he believes that as long as they're good people, it's okay. He doesn't want them to grow up with prejudice embedded in their minds or with this idea that you have to be some certain way. Something very ironic was when Miss Caroline, Scout's teacher, was complaining to Scout how she knew how to read before getting into school, because Scout was learning with her father, and she yells at Scout and she's like, "You must not learn. You must not have your dad teaching you outside of school." Since this novel is taken place during the Great Depression, there was this illusion called the crash, which referred to the crash of the stock markets, which was something that you could deeply relate with this novel. Throughout the novel, you can notice more and more that Jem is a very round and dynamic character because as he grows up and goes through puberty, he realizes the injustice that is so prominent in his town that he grew up in, and he starts to realize much deeper things about life. The fact that the narrator was an adult scout made the story much more dramatic because there would be so many events where the young scout would not be able to identify what was happening or what danger that people were in, but the adult scout narrating was able to give this other view on it. The overall theme that was taken away was that prejudice was a very big issue in Maycomb, and that regardless of who you are, you should always be treated with respect.